First, I want to give a disclaimer that all the information in this video are people's claims I have found on the internet that are alleged. Second of all, this video may talk about topics such as pedophilia and grooming. If you are sensitive to that, then please don't watch this. Take care of yourself. Thank you. Pumpchkin is probably one of the most famous movie Star Planet players of all time. If you don't know her, then you probably lived under a rock, or you did not play during that time period. She was the it girl. She had everything that you could have ever wanted, and some pretty die-hard fans, I guess. She had a team called Pump Porters, which was short for supporters, and they followed her everywhere she went. She also had leaders such as Vivi Giovanni, Kylie Kardashian, Cute Stuff, Snuggle Muffins, more that I'm missing, but those are the main people I remember. She started the game early on, in 2011, when all of it really began. For anybody who doesn't know who I'm talking about, I'll just go to her little wiki page and read you what it says there, because I feel like that could explain better than I could off the top of my head right now. So, let's go there. Pumpchkin is the deleted user on Movie Star Planet US. She is level 101 and has been inactive for several years, although hackers have been able to access her account for nefarious reasons, eventually leading to her account's deletion in May 2020. I'll get into that part in a bit, but for right now, let's just really see who she was as a person. Pump started gaining fame and recognition when she befriended the once high-scoring Joanna Petty. Soon after, she created her popular group Team Pump, aka Porters, which eventually became the largest team on the US server. Throughout 2011, Pump quickly started climbing the high scores board, going from the 3rd page in October 2011 to the 3rd spot on the 1st page in February 2012. From 2012 to 2019, Pump was the top user on the US high scores board before quitting and being passed by my beau. I don't know how you say that, guys. I never learned. Basically, to sum up everything it says right here in this little bit, she is well known for her movies, art books, and looks. I mean, she's also the most famous high scorer. So if she had a look, so did half of the damn server. She was so famous that people talked about her off-site. Twitter, YouTube, wherever. Back in the day, if you remember, I feel so old for saying that, people had blog pages for Movie Star Planet. These were a real thing that people had. In the next section after that, it talks about how my beau or whatever had beef with the Porters and the viewers, but if you remember, Pump had beef with everyone. Porters did not get along with Jules, aka the supporters of Once It's Jares, or the viewers, or Scream Team, or literally anybody. In the next section, it says from March 2016 to the end of July 2016, she was on hiatus for unknown reasons, and only on her backup and her YouTube channel. Nothing really important there. In 2017, she got to level 100, which was crazy. And in this next little section, it talks about some of the controversies she has had, but I will dive way into those later. The wiki briefly talked about how popular this player really was, but in all honesty, it doesn't do it justice. I think you guys need to realize that people were pretending to be her. You either wanted to be her or you wanted to be her best friend. There was blog websites made just for her and her team. People made YouTube videos just to see if they could get a notice from her. Like, she was a real celebrity. Honestly, looking back on it, it feels kind of cultish, but I feel like everybody was doing it back then. Because it's kind of weird because you don't know who you're praising behind the screen, which in this case you later find out that they might not be the best person. The wiki also briefly talked about her YouTube popularity. She did make very good skits, and I will say that some of her videos for the time were pretty good. I think it was very satisfying to watch her level up. I mean, I didn't have a problem with her when she was around, but I also knew nothing about what was going on behind the scenes. I don't think very many people did. She's very secretive. She kept her identity a secret to basically anyone. All anybody really knew about her was this name that she shared with us all, Carolyn. She had a Twitter, that was her name, that was her handle. We all knew Carolyn was her supposed first name. And like she had her own personality, so did the rest of her quote-unquote dream team girls. Yes, that's really what they were called. We can start with Vivi Giovanni. Her name was Vivi, if you could not guess with her username. She was supposed to be the tomboy, her freckles were a statement, like, she was the edgier one, quote unquote, if you get what I'm saying. And then we had Kylie Kardashian. Her name was Kylie, if you also could not guess that one. She was very preppy and girly, and her little slim nose or whatever was also her little statement. You know, that was her thing. They all had their own thing. And then we had Cute Stuff. Cute Stuff was different. The Cute Stuff's not a name. However, Cammy Cute Stuff is. CC. Very creative. She was the POC one, which honestly was kind of rare for Movie Star Planet at the time. There wasn't a lot of POC high scores, and honestly there still isn't, and that needs to be discussed. And honestly, her style and personality was like if you put Kylie and Vivi into a mixing pot and then boom, that was Cammy. And then the odd one out that you have is Snuggle Muffins. Now there's a lot to talk about with this account, this character, this person who is supposedly a French Canadian, or a Canadian that spoke French and not very good English, who is persuaded by the Dream Team girls to come onto the USA server to join Team Pump and be a part of the main clique. There's a lot of conspiracies about this person, what happened to them, who they really were, but their name was Abby. You put these girls together, you have an unstoppable team who is basically running Movie Star Planet. They are doing the work for Movie Star Planet, and what I mean is that they're keeping it popular, they're making these content that is promoting the game, and with all of the popularity that surrounded them, the user base was at an all-time high. Towards the end of Pump's Movie Star Planet career, she was hacked numerous times. It was rumored that her password was super easy, which is not smart for anyone, even if you're not level 101. Please don't have your password be ABC123 or something dumb like that. Ever, for anything. I hate to say it, but anybody who has basic knowledge of computer softwares can honestly get into Movie Star Planet's files. They're not really that encrypted and they're not hard to get into. I personally have not, but I know many people who have. With that being said, a high scores account is not as protected as it seems. From what I know, her hacking was actually live stream and was coordinated by a group of friends. I believe they posted this either live stream or video to YouTube at some point. I'm not sure if it's still up. If it is, I'll have a little insertion here. They end up changing her outfit and making her avatar into what we know today as her final little outfit that she has on. From what I remember, I believe the person who is in the video hacking her has claimed that they didn't really do anything and they did not delete her account. However, it is this video that led to the crackdown of who she really was and who her quote-unquote Dream Team girls really were as well. I will give my little disclaimer again, because I do not want anybody who still supports her or whatever to get mad at me for this. Everything that I'm about to talk about in the next part of this video are either claims that I have found on the internet or just basic searching. I'm not claiming that these are 100% true, yet I do believe that we should give some of them light and faith considering what they are talking about. Always believe victims first, in my opinion. I in no way support doxing, however this is a predator and things are a little different. So I'm going to talk about the personal details of Pump's life that I have found on the internet. I am no way claiming that this is absolutely 100% true, yet I will present all the information that I have found. Again, another content warning for this part of the video, while I will talk about predatory and grooming actions that Pump has quote unquote done. If you are sensitive to this, then please don't watch this. I want you to be concerned about yourself first and not worry about Movie Star Planet drama that may upset you. As I talked about before, Pump had an easily hackable password, which is what led her to getting hacked. I'm unsure if these hackers had an exploit, but they were able to get a hold of the email address that was connected to the Pumpchkin account. This email address had Pump's first and last name in it. Nowadays, it is really easy to get information on somebody if you have their first and last name. Her first name was not Carolyn. Instead, it is Crandallin. Upon finding this information, they were able to find out how old Pump really was. If you really dove deep into all the Dream Team girls and their birthdays, they never were right. They switched what day, month, whatever, all the time. Never said what year, made their age a secret. Pump's birthday is December 20th, 1984, making her 26 years old when she first started playing Movie Star Planet. In the time that she was active, she was 26 to 34 years old. And as bad as that sounds, that's only the tip of the iceberg. This email that she had linked to her account was also linked to every single Dream Team girl's account. While some of these accounts were not always her, it was clear to see that at that moment, every single account was owned by her. Whether some of these accounts were actually her the whole time, or instead, partially her, partially someone else for some of these times, is completely a mystery. However, it is insane to think about how long she might have ran those accounts for by herself. I don't know about you, but running one account for me is super hard. These accounts had backups. they had internet personalities. She specifically made personalities for every single person. You may remember Donnie C, who was also a part of the Dream Team. He was a high scorer as well. According to the information I have found, Donnie C and Pump lived together. I believe at the current time of me making this video, he was 40 years old, making him a little bit older than Pump. They both went to high school together and graduated around the year 2000, which is before or when most Movie Star Planet users were born. I was born in 2003, so that was 3 years before I was even born. It is alleged that Donnie groomed and sexted a 16-year-old when he was 34. Apparently there was proof, but I have not seen the proof. I am unsure if anybody has posted the proof. I only know this because of Twitter and this really good YouTube video that has most of the points that I'm gonna make in there, if not more. So please, if you want more information on this specifically, you should watch their video because they did interviews. I was not around during the time, but trust me, if I was, this would have been a really big thing that I would have stood up for. You may remember Riley, who was dating Pump for most of the time on Movie Star Planet. I'm not entirely sure how long they dated for, to be honest. They have since sold their account to somebody that I personally know, so don't go send anything weird to them because that's not the same person. Riley was a boy on Movie Star Planet. They had a Twitter. They also went by, he, him, and they actually turned out to be a girl, which in my opinion is no big deal. Honestly, that used to happen all the time on Movie Star Planet, and it still does. People have boy accounts and they're girls or vice versa, and I think that's totally fine. But it's actually a lot deeper than that. Riley and Pump posted on Twitter about them meeting up in person, and there was a supposed picture of Pump that actually turned out to be a picture of Riley. Riley actually spoke out about this and said that they made the account when they were 12 years old and they were confused about their sexuality, so they made a guy account to grasp the concept of being a lesbian. Which, I don't see a problem with that at all, not even a little bit. It's Movie Star Planet. Who cares? Now going back to Riley's age, they said that they were 12 when they made their Movie Star Planet account. That makes them being 12 to 18 while dating Pump while she was 27 to 34. And unfortunately, it gets worse from there. Like I said before, they had met up in person numerous times. Riley has released statements a while ago that I'll try to post up on here. I don't want anybody to try to contact the OG Riley about this because obviously they have a lot of trauma from this, as you could figure. And I don't want anybody to contact the new person who owns Riley because they're not even involved. Basically, in a summary of this statement right here, Riley basically talks about how Pump was an online predator and tried to groom multiple adolescents. Riley then confirms that the picture taken was actually of them and not Pump. Riley then says that they were 16 when they first met Pump and she was 31. They said they would meet in hotel rooms, go get drunk, and do things that I don't think I should say. Riley then says that they went to the police after they found out that Pump was 35 the summer that they posted this statement. Coming out with a statement like this is very painful and hard, and I'm very glad that they felt the courage to do so because it is just as important for us to know as them to know that this woman was god-awful. There's another statement from an anonymous user that Pump groomed and sexted with them when he was 12 and she was 27. Like I said, I wasn't around when these rumors and allegations came out, but learning about them afterwards was just gut-wrenching, and I cannot imagine anybody who was friends with her, looked up to her, all of these things felt when this happened, and it's just another reason why we should not blindly follow people on Movie Star Planet. It's okay to be friends with somebody, it's okay to support somebody, but I think it gets to a point where it's really cultish that we need to kind of pull the plug a little bit, because at the end of the day, you don't know who these people truly are for the most part. I'm not saying that you can't make friends on Movie Star Planet that you aren't friends with for years. I have friends that I've been friends with for a while, but if it is somebody who doesn't have a good track record of having even the same birthday, I think that's a red flag. It is also briefly discussed that Joanna Petty was 25 to 34 while playing Movie Star Planet. From what I know, she's pretty innocent, so I will not dig deep into this one, but I do want you to be aware that even during 2016, there were adults playing this game. There were popular adults playing this game, and even today, there are still popular adults playing this game. I'm an adult, but I'm talking like 30. There are some people on this game who are 30. They're not like us, for any of the people who are from like 18 to 21, who've just turned into adults and play this game for nostalgia. There are people who have been adults the entire time they have played this game, which is very alarming. Abby, aka Snuggle Muffins, I'm not entirely sure about this. I've seen statements from supposedly Abby, from supposedly her cousin, from literally anybody. Her entire existence is a fucking mystery. The current owner of that account is not Snuggle Muffins. It is not their original owner. From what I have heard, Abby was a real person until a point. This is a real rumor, and I'm not entirely sure if this is true, but I also heard that Pump made her speak in broken English because she thought it would make her stand out more than the other girls. Like I said, every single person on that team had a thing, and that was going to be Abby's thing. There are still people who support her and her team to this day. There are people who want to bring back what is dead. Like all of their teams, it's ridiculous. Yes, it is nostalgic to think about, and yes, I think it was very important for Movie Star Planet at the time. However, it is almost 2024 by the time I'm recording this. I'm not sure if it'll come out before then. I'm not sure how much longer this game will survive for, if I'm going to be honest. However, I don't think bringing back anything that has to do with Pump is a good idea. And just because you dress like how everybody dressed in 2016 doesn't mean you're dressing like Pump. You're just dressing like how everybody dressed in 2016. You do not have to say she had banger outfits or whatever. It's just ridiculous. Just stop bringing her up. Every time I've ever brought her up is for the sake of educational purposes or to talk about the things that she's done, because there are a lot of people who do not know, and that's crazy to me, you know? Before I end this video, I do want to talk just a little bit about internet safety, because I feel like it's pretty relevant to what I'm talking about right now. I hope if anybody watching is in a similar situation as this one, that they do speak up about it, because it is very important for your safety, but not only that, but for your mental health too. You are very important, and do not let people think they have power over you even if you're younger than them. That's really, really weird. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this one was a little bit of a grim one. I have lots of other ideas about things I want to do, but if there's anything specifically you'd like me to cover, then please comment it and I will look into it.